Hey guys, Austin here, what's going on? Springtime has arrived.
In springtime, the only pretty ringtime, birds sing, hey ding.
And this anime season is delivering banger after banger. Like I always preface, I don't have nearly enough time to watch all the current shows. But out of all the new ones coming out, I am currently keeping up with 7 of them. And so today, I will run through those and tell you if I think they are worth your time, or if they're a waste of time. I also have quite a few sequels that I'm watching, but they don't have spots on this list, because if you've seen the other seasons, you should have a pretty good idea if you want to watch them or not. So with all of that said, let's begin. My Home Hero. Ordinary salaryman Tetsuo Toshi lives his ordinary life with his ordinary wife until something not so ordinary comes along. The discovery that his daughter Reika has been abused by her boyfriend Matori Nobuto. And as any caring father should, he decides to go full Liam Neeson and find Matori and put a stop to the abuse. Through the process, Tetsuo finds out that this man is scheming to extort money from Reika's wealthy grandparents, and is also part of a crime syndicate, all on top of having a history of murdering his previous girlfriends. Fearful of what might happen to Reika, Tetsuo finds himself in an unfortunate bigger pickle by accidentally killing Matori in a rage-induced attack. Reika, I killed your boyfriend, held the rice cooker above my head, bashed his skull in, now he's dead. Tetsuo, with the help of his wife, disposes of the body, and now have to work together to ensure the safety of their daughter, and avoid entanglements with the syndicate that is in search of their missing member. I was sold on the show not long into its first episode. I instantly felt invested in Tetsuo as a character. This is a man who cares deeply about his family, to the point he would do anything to protect them despite not being some secret badass or anything. He's just your average guy taking this scary situation into his own hands for the sake of his daughter's well-being. And it's really endearing. The first couple of episodes are not without their flaws though. Matori, the abusive boyfriend character, is portrayed a bit hammy. This show makes you well aware of how bad of a guy he is by having him brag to his friends about beating women up. Like the writer couldn't find any other way to tell us, this man bad. Also, another small thing would be how quickly Tetsuo's wife brushes off the weight of the murder and just complies with little to no questioning. It's really not that big of a deal. They are clearly just trying to move the plot forward faster, but it is a little jarring when it happens. However, despite these minuscule complaints, my investment in Tetsuo had me ignoring those details. And I would be lying if I didn't admit that the intense nature of this story had me vigorously biting my nails with each passing minute. And because of that, I can already tell watching weekly is going to be a struggle because each episode ends and I'm like, more! Just in case I haven't been clear though, in my opinion, My Home Hero is not to be slept on, and is definitely worth your time. Why Raeliana ended up at the Duke's mansion. In modern-day Japan, our protagonist, Rinko Hanasaki, is suddenly murdered. This is not the end of her story, however. She awakens to find herself in another world?
Oh shit, here we go again.
The new person she has become is Raeliana Macmillan, and is now in the world of her favorite romance/mystery novel. The catch is, she isn't the main character of said novel. She's a plot device character that is written to be murdered by her fiancé. This girl cannot catch a W. But Raeliana, or Rinka rather, is determined to prevent this fate from occurring, and intends to reroute the entire course of the novel's events. She shifts things by eyeing the male lead of the story, Duke Noah Voltaire Winknight. With her knowledge of the plot points to come, she offers info to Noah on the condition he pretends to be her fiancé. I started this one on a whim. I am always hesitant of isekai shows, as I have seen quite a few stinkers in the past, and I have been tired of the copy-paste nature of them for a while now. But every once in a while I give one a shot. The synopsis interested me enough to start it up. And honestly, no regrets. This is unfolding pretty nicely. It's not something that has me on the edge of my seat, but I'm for sure invested enough to keep watching. It definitely has me interested to see how Raeliana is going to continue changing things that are supposed to be set in stone. And I actually really hope they don't drop the plot about her death as Rinko back in her previous life, because that is yet to be explained, and I hope it's not forgotten. I think that would be a shame. Not a whole lot more to say about this one, other than that, as of now, I would say why Raeliana ended up at the Duke's mansion is worth your time. Hell's Paradise.
How can I help you?
Yes, could I get the edginess combo, topped with extra edge, and with maybe 2 sides of edge, please?
And what to drink?
I'd say a large edge would be fine.
Okay, great. I have 1 order of Hell's Paradise. Anything else?
Gabimaru the Hollow is a ninja of the Iwagakure village, who has been set up by his fellow ninja and is now on death row. Fed up with the world around him, he doesn't really care, and actually prefers it if he dies. However, all attempts to kill Gabimaru fail, because despite his refusal to admit it, he does have a reason to keep on living. He wants to return to his wife. A famous executioner sees this and presents him with a proposal. If Gabimaru joins her on an expedition to an island south of Japan to find the elixir of life, he will receive a full pardon for his crimes. This show is immensely entertaining so far. Its dark setting, gory fight scenes, and sleek animation have more than done their part in crafting a very engaging story setup. The standout aspect of this series so far is its characters. Their characterizations and motivations are very interesting, and seem to promise a lot more complexity moving forward. It has me curious about them and where this plot might take them, which is always a positive thing. Obviously, not every show is able to pull off that kind of engagement right away. The previously mentioned edginess of the show is not an insult. I know some people might assume I'm dogging on it. It is very edgy, but I would say that's expected from this type of series, so it's not necessarily a negative, even though I do think it can be seen that way by some. Hell's Paradise is a highly regarded manga, and despite me not having read it personally, I can see that this adaptation seems to be hitting audiences in a similar way. And if you haven't checked it out, it's worth your time. My Clueless First Friend. Akane Nishimura is a quiet girl who keeps to herself. This, combined with her intimidating gaze, is the right recipe her classmates need to fuel their relentless bullying, name-calling her Grim Reaper and acting as if she has some kind of curse. Despite what others think, transfer student Taiyo Takada wants more than anything to be friends with Akane. He finds supernatural things fascinating and thinks the whole Grim Reaper thing is pretty awesome. His optimism and kindness shows Akane what friendship truly is. You know, sometimes I just want to watch something adorable, and this is absolutely that. It's so freaking heartwarming to see Taiyo befriend Akane, and there's also something kind of funny about how oblivious he is to the teasing classmates around, because he just doesn't see why being the Grim Reaper would be anything other than super cool.
It's so cool, son of a bitch.
But Akane has been treated badly for so long that she has this barrier around her that Taiyo has to break down. She just doesn't understand why anyone would even want to be her friend. However, the efforts come through to her and that wall does start to fall piece by piece, and it's so sweet to watch. This shit melts my heart. My Clueless First Friend receives my seasonal Wholesome as Fuck award. And if you think you need something lighter and feel good between the big intense shows this season, I'd say it's worth your time. A Galaxy Next Door. Ever since the death of their father, Ichiro Kuga has struggled to support his 2 siblings on a small inheritance and the drive he has for drawing manga. As time has gone on, it has increasingly become more difficult for him to follow his dreams. Nearly at his breaking point, Shiori Goshiki applies to become his new assistant, but there is something different about Shiori. Kuga is thrown for a loop as the shocking revelation occurs that she is an alien princess and they are now engaged to be married. Okay, so this is also really wholesome. I love that shit, so I hope it keeps hitting that. Kuga is an instantly relatable protagonist. He's a guy down on his luck a little, just trying to do what he loves as well as take care of his family. Then this girl Shiori shows up and becomes a strong asset for him. Seeing them work together and get stuff done is really nice. The way it all begins sets this up to be your standard fare slice of life romance, but diving into Shiori's mysterious origins takes it into more unique territory than some others in the genre. None of it is mind-blowing, nor does it push the boundaries of storytelling or anything, but it does present a feel-good atmosphere that I personally enjoy consuming in anime from time to time. It's not best romance of all time quality, but I don't really feel it needs to be. It's not a big highlight of this banger-filled season, but despite not handing out a single waste of time claim yet in this video, I think if you want a straightforward romance slice of life that also mixes in a few interesting story twists and concepts, A Galaxy Next Door is still worth your time. Dead Mount Deathplay. In a realm different from our own, a showdown for the ages occurs. The legendary hero and the corpse god necromancer battle in the most epic confrontation of all time. Wait, I feel like I've seen this before. The corpse god's unexpected gambit shot is reincarnation magic. Okay, yeah, I've definitely seen this before. Across all of space and time, he awakens as someone new, a young boy named Polka Shinoyama, who was a victim to attempted murder. Now in our present day, a whole new story begins to unfold. Okay, maybe I haven't seen this one. The start of its first episode had me feeling like I was watching a show just like every generic fantasy anime that's ever come out. But by the end, found myself curious as to where the story might be heading. As mentioned earlier in this video, I'm not much of an isekai guy, so when the episode began, my reaction was far from enthusiastic. However, since its prelude, it has proven to be somewhat interesting. It opens the right amount of questions and presents concepts and ideas that, while not necessarily new, are captivating enough to keep me wanting more. The reason I gave this show a shot in the first place is that it's written by Ryogo Narita, who is the man responsible for gems like Bakano and Durarara. The dude is goated, and I can see some similarities in story structure to those here. The problem is that those are some giant footsteps to follow, and at this point it's doubtful that this will be as good as those were, but despite that, it is pretty cool to see this author's take on the genre. And fingers crossed that throughout the course of it, it doesn't divulge into a stereotypical edgefest, which if I'm honest, shades of can be seen in certain instances here. Only time will tell if anything changes, but at the time of this video, I would say the Dead Mount Death play teeters between worth it and being a waste, but I also don't want to write it off completely. So I will confidently declare it is worth your time. Maybe. Sorta kinda. Heavenly Delusion. 15 years have passed since the world was attacked by man-eating monsters with otherworldly abilities, destroying most of the human population in their wake. To shelter children against their attacks, a special facility was created as a safe environment for them to be raised in. Despite this being the safest place for them, the children there yearn to explore the outside world. Meanwhile, in said outside world are two teenagers, Maru and Kiruko. They are in search for a place called Heaven, each for their own reasons. Haunted by their dark pasts, they both seek answers and resolution to the cruelties of this world. If I said I wasn't completely caught off guard by the show, that would be a straight up lie. In its early episodes so far, it has brought something truly astounding to the table. While a post-apocalyptic society is nothing new to storytelling, this series throws you into its world and slowly sprinkles in extra information for you to piece it all together little by little, which makes it feel uncharted, regardless of if it's been done to death at this point. I'm fully on board with the characters here, who they are, where they come from, where they're going. Each of them have a shroud of mystery surrounding them, and I'm just along for the ride. Stories that make me work to understand everything instead of being spoon-fed every detail are amongst my favorites. This doesn't feel like a seasonal anime. It's a goddamn cinematic experience, feeling closer to things like Akira than anything the seasonal variety typically showcases. There's a certain atmosphere to this that you instantly are engulfed by when each episode begins, and the only way out is the episode ending. All I can do is pray that the quality of the series remains, and that it sticks its landing. Because as of now, this is my personal pick for best anime of the season. And because this spring season is too good to waste your time, Heavenly Delusion is, as made clear by my praise, obviously worth your time. And that's all I have for you today. Let me know down below what you're watching this season. And if you would be so kind, please like and subscribe. And I'll see you guys next time.